just one of countless David Bowie hits, Let's Dance from 1983. Bowie died yesterday of cancer. The exact type and circumstances are unknown, but the incredible body of work he left behind is unquestionable. Today, we're looking back with Eli Glasner. So first of all, Eli, you were here to talk about the Golden Globes. That was your assignment today.
Yeah.
And then we find out about David Bowie.
First thing I do when I wake up, I check my phone. And I saw the news, and I was still kind of bleary. I didn't believe it, Andrew, because just yesterday I was listening to his new album, Black Star, and so my first reaction was that...
It just came out on Friday.
I was just listening to his new music. I mean, it doesn't make any sense that... Of course he could have died, but he's still so present in our life. He's still so vibrant, and yet now here we are. We're going to talk about the legacy, the legend that is David Bowie. I mean, the only things that were really eternal with Bowie was, I think, that shock of blonde hair and that amazing tenor of a voice. You see him here from kind of that Fame period, 1981. Fame, one of his, I think, best, most memorable songs, that kind of blue-eyed soul. Again, shifting his musical style. I mean, this guy was a musical, a fashion, even a movie chameleon. It seemed like his persona, his music was this palette that he was continually playing with, continually kind of reinventing himself. And so you think of the song Fame, he was so comfortable with his own fame because he kind of made the most of it, and he was constantly changing himself. I mean, the song changes. Who knew better about changes than David Bowie? Or you think of some of those classic duets like Under Pressure with Freddie Mercury of Queen. I mean, to be able to stand on stage with Freddie Mercury, who can belt it out, who are you going to get to actually match that voice, lyric for lyric? But David Bowie and Freddie Mercury together in that song from 1981, talk about a match made in heaven. I mean, this is the 80s, kind of the height of, David Bowie's ascension, and then Queen together, an amazing track that still lives on. And then you can go back to some of the early parts of his career, Spiders from Mars. I mean, this is the thing that when he came out of the 60s and into that glam rock era, we talked today about your transgender characters and all of that, but, it seemed to him that his gender was fluid before it was even cool, that he was constantly, remaking himself into different kinds of characters. Ziggy Stardust, this androgynous, bisexual, alien character who inhabited this album from, 1973 or so. And, if it was a lesser artist with lesser music, maybe you'd look at that and scratch your head and laugh. But with Bowie, it didn't just work, it rocked. It was amazing. I want to play you, though, one of my favorite songs, and this is, I believe, from 1977. He was a hero to so many of us, and he captured it perfectly. This is David Bowie and Heroes. I won't be here. We can be heroes for just one day. I mean, there's a poignancy there, of course, this morning. And you look at what he did in terms of, showing artists like Lady Gaga, like Kanye West, that took time out of partying at the Golden Globes last night to pay tribute to Bowie, because he was the mold of the kind of artist that they wanted to be bigger than music, to become one thing and then another thing, and so many now sharing their memories of Bowie today.
Yeah, unbelievable. And speaking of film, obviously for a pop icon like David Bowie to make the leap into film, it was probably not much of a leap at all. It was a very small step.
I mean, he was theatrical before anyone pointed a camera at him in the first place, so it made perfect sense. Now, I am a child of the 80s, so when you talk to me about David Bowie, I have to give you the Labyrinth movie, of course, Jim Henson's a classic. I mean, who could actually make the Goblin King and those tights actually seem cool? David Bowie can and did. It was amazing. Just one of various roles he played. I mean, his film biography is almost as long as his musical biography, but he had that presence. And I think part of that was just being comfortable with himself and being distinctive. I mean, from the voice to that appearance, there was no one quite like David Bowie. And now we have that one final album to savor. And, you know, we never knew that this new album would be his last, Black Star. And of course, I mean, you have to think, you know, he was battling cancer for 18 months. He obviously knew what he was dealing with here, and it seems from what I've heard and from the reviews that I've been reading, it's in that album. This is a wonderfully strange... We didn't know.
Which is interesting.
But he knew, and he, like any great artist, put that on tape, put that into his craft, put that into his songs. And this is a interesting, weird, strange, kind of jazzy album, the kind of thing Bowie made many of the last decade or so, and yet it is classic David Bowie. It is honest, it's raw, and it's unmistakable.
Eli, thank you.
My pleasure.
So here's a little more from David Bowie's turn as Jareth, the Goblin King in Labyrinth.
And baby said, dance, magic dance, dance, magic dance.